The comic book works of Satoshi Kon are but few rare morsels, Jimmy. He had a big career in animation, and we're going to give a quick glance to 5 gigantic books full of his storyboards with thousands upon thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of drawings. Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, Cartoonist Kayfabe. My name is Ed Piskor.
I'm Jim Rugg.
We are a daily YouTube channel with more than 1,500 videos in our filmography. It's very possible we talked about your favorite comics, so hit the magnifying glass on the front page of the Cartoonist Kayfabe YouTube channel. Give your favorite comics a search and check out those videos. We have a Patreon where the King Kayfabers on the Patreon are hanging out with us in a live stream recording session, and they get first access to all of the videos that we are recording, thus mitigating the kayfabe effect. And the kayfabe effect, it could bite you. So the subscription on the Patreon can pay for itself. Jimmy, without further ado, let's just jump into these storyboard books a little bit, man. I am a gigantic fan of this kind of material. It really started for me with the Akira storyboards. And the beauty of the Japanese system is that the term director also really means the head storyboard artist. This is the guy who is responsible for pacing out the entire story. It's not like the American system where you have, John Lasseter or something that kind of like push a bunch of people in a lot of directions. Like the director of anime, they draw all the storyboards. So we know that the manga system is very collaborative with assistants and things. And of course, anime takes hundreds and hundreds of hands to make a film. The storyboards are the place where you can actually see the hand of that individual artist without any kinds of other influences. So you're able to get a certain line of thought that you just don't get with the collaborative process. In fact, Satoshi Kon worked with Otomo on the last couple volumes of Akira. And, if you see some of Satoshi Kon's manga, you could kind of see where his hand would show up in those late period Akira pieces. But there are, as of right now, and I think maybe this is in total, 5 collections of Satoshi Kon's animated storyboards. Probably the biggest ones that we have here in the States, of course, Perfect Blue, considered his masterpiece, Paprika, Tokyo Godfather, whatever this one is called. And then the newest that I scooped up was from his TV series called Paranoia Agent. And once again, the beauty of these things, man, is that you get to see the guy's hand from the start. And I believe these all start this way. And in fact, I think that tradition began with even the Akira stuff. Like you don't go backwards. You can see right here the page numbers are increasing. So
That's interesting. It's in the left to right.
Right. So it's really sweet to kind of see exactly. I feel like you get a more intimate understanding of the guy's storytelling process when you see it at this kind of level.
Yeah, that's one of the values of this format to me, is kind of like the quick read, but also I hate to say pared down, but right. That kind of is what it is. It's very direct.
Yes.
It is very apparent. And that's the whole crux, right? It's how do you communicate this in a fraction of a second?
Right. And that is the part that's right here, man, is you have seconds, you have milliseconds. So if you ever seen that Ghibli documentary with Miyazaki doing his Poco Rosso storyboards or whatever it was, and he's sitting there, he draws his storyboards, he closes his eyes, and he has his stopwatch, and he looks at that, and then he's marking down how long he thinks this scene should take to transpire, down to literally the millisecond. And minutes never shows up. It's always seconds. I have no idea where you would linger on a single image for a minute.
Yeah, that seems impossible.
Yeah, it's probably vestigial. Or maybe it's for movie, feature films, live action.
I thought maybe cumulative. Like if you're trying to figure out like how long do we actually have we done 3 minutes here on this intro?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no idea. Perfect Blue's the one that I know like the best. You know, like this was one of the flicks that when you were renting movies and shit, like would always be in an anime section.
I wonder the scale of the originals on these. Is it a little bit bigger?
So I've seen some storyboards that were 1-for-1 Xeroxes, and I would say it's close to whatever, you know how it's like A3, A4, all that stuff?
Yeah.
It's whatever the A size is that's the closest to American legal pad size.
Okay.
So a little bigger,
Yeah.
you know, like, but it's not 11 by 17. And just imagine, you know, you're drawing 6 drawings at a very small scale. These are so tight that you wonder, there must be some kind of like sketch part, right?
I mean, I do wonder. Yeah, it's part of my asking that question is because of that, you know, kind of wondering if there's preliminary stuff, you know, and it probably varies. You know, some of the more complex stuff maybe you do work out, and I bet some of this stuff, you know, they just dash, they just go.
Here looks like some stuff that's being worked out on the boards. Now, one of my main attractions with these storyboard books at this point, beyond just actually, you know, getting more Satoshi Kon work that, you know, the man died at like age 48 or something like that. We're never going to get anything else. So you know, this is it. The videos are brought to you by the books that we make, and we have a healthy selection of new materials for you at this point in time. Jimmy has Street Angel Princess of Poverty hot on the stands. It is the companion piece to Street Angel Deadliest Girl Alive. Princess of Poverty collects Jimmy's pre-Image Comics, Street Angel comics, and you have both of these collections. You have all of his Street Angel comics to date. He's been self-publishing lately, and True Crime Funnies is one of his latest efforts where comics are concerned. There is the 1986 zine, there is the black and white zine, and you'll be able to scoop those up at his website. The Hulk Grand Design Marvel Treasury Edition book is technically out of print at this point, man. So if you see it somewhere, scoop it up because you're not going to have second dibs, a second shot at getting it anytime soon. The Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus is out there in the wild right now. Scoop it up. There's only about 20% of this book left on the stands. Coming to you in early 2024 is going to be Red Room Crypto Killers. It is the third part of the Red Room trilogy of comics. Each one is self-contained, so give anyone a shot, check it out, and you know, give another one a shot if you dig it. Then there is X-Men Grand Design trade paperback, collecting all of my X-Men Grand Design works in one handy dandy hard softcover edition. Now that we are done paying the bills, let's get back to the video. The scale of these frames is the exact scale. If I choose to do a 4-panel strip on the stuff that I'm working on now, it's almost exactly proportional to this. So when I see like the more complex compositions, things like this, I'm able to see like what you can get away with in that scale. And to have the works of many different creators is very, very helpful where this is concerned. I start my day looking at storyboard books. When I have a period of in the morning where I have to do roughs, I spend an hour like looking through the Akira stuff, looking through the Miyazaki's, and now I have Satoshi Kon on the docket, who I can also look at. It's interesting to tell just like how different of approaches all of these guys have, where Otomo is the butch, like machismo action movie kind of guy. Miyazaki is whimsy and character based. And you see some of the far out camera angles with Satoshi Kon. It's like impressionistic and conceptual. You know, it's about the inner mind rather than like really exactly just what you're seeing on the screen. Like there's a reason why, you know, you're just going straight to the inside of a closet. You know, it's like the inside of her mind or something.
Yeah, I wonder where the script is, like how tight a script is whenever it's time to like, okay, let's hit the storyboard now. Like, is that a totally tight script, you know, that you might edit after the storyboards, or is it a looser script where like some of the writing is going on in the storyboarding? And the other thing that I wish that this stuff makes me want is names. You know, like let me see that process. You know, seeing kind of like writing, development, concept, and composition here. I'd like to see it for the manga version.
Totally. So, and I can't speak for Satoshi, but whenever I showed off my gang of Ghibli storyboards, I got a text from Scott Morse, who works at Pixar, does comics work, and he says that it's all done on the page. Like, Miyazaki's writing is in this stage. Now, maybe... And so, like, when you look through the storyboards, there's stuff that doesn't make the final. You know, it gets whittled down further and further, right?
Of course.
So maybe that's just Miyazaki, but maybe that's how this goes. You know, maybe that's the same thing with Satoshi Kon here.
That would make total sense to me. I knew there were, like, early days of SPX, I remember running into, like, these anthologies that animators would do as comics. And the one guy I remember talking to extensively that would do his stories like storyboards, where it was like every moment is drawn, and then he would be taking panels away for the comic version, which different storytelling, you know, like there's some crossover, but a lot of differences too. But it's interesting to think of the writing process of, like, I'm drawing what's happening, you know, like it's still the writing, and then I'll edit.
So Jimmy, one of the personal exercises that I do whenever I'm looking through these things is I'm making those calls in comic book terms when I look at these various, like, storyboards, like which ones are the most important ones in terms of comic book storytelling, and just trying to get my brain into that mode of using this scale and economy, right? Because I am just one person making a comic, and I'm trying to get a page done a day. So there's a lot to negotiate when you're putting those kind of pages together, and to see true masters of the form, master drawers, draftsmen use this kind of space. It's been a great tool for me.
Yeah.
You see something that
I did. There was one with some motion lines, which was fun. You know, like we've seen that in other stuff, but, you know, like it's kind of cool to see a little bit of motion actually drawn in the storyboard, because a lot of these images don't have that.
His Otomo is showing right there.
There you go.
But can't recommend these enough, man. I think that they are worth having on the bookshelf for anybody who is a fan of manga, a fan of this guy's films, a fan of just drawing. It's the most sort of unfiltered version of Satoshi's work that you're going to see. There's no other hands in it, so I think that it's extremely valuable for those reasons, certainly. And you can actually find these books very affordably. They are on proper Amazon. I know you said you had the Paprika one.
Yeah, I bought that one in a store here. I bought that at Copacetic. So, you know, these things have a following. You know, a really good store will have them, but even if failing that and you got to order it online, like, these are available.
Yeah.
At least some of them.
And, you know, it's the game that you play when you're in Japan, right? Like, this is the one that I scooped up and checked out the first time, and, like, just fell in love with it. You know, you take it back to the hotel, and this one wasn't like I don't think it was in a shrink wrap, because I was able to look at it, right? And I'm like, fuck, I need to go back and grab the other ones. But then I take a look at my my Amazon app, and I'm like, what can I get cheap in the States so that I don't have to, like, add poundage to my bags? And these were waiting for me when I got home. But this is the latest one, and I don't think that I saw it on Amazon. Here, let me put the image together. Hold up, now you got it last time. Here, where is it? There it is. There it is, right there, dude. How cool is that? But there they are, man. The Satoshi Kon storyboard books, and pretty easily online and at your local comic shop. There are some good collections of the Satoshi Kon comics. You know, there's Opus, Dark Horse put that out, one or two other Dark Horse publications, and I think Vertical put out a collection of his works that was like maybe like a collection of a bunch of small stories and one-shots.
Yeah, I have that, and it slips my mind the name of it, but Opus is amazing. Was he working on that when he passed?
Yeah,
it's incomplete,
I do think
it's still
unfinished.
an incredible manga. These are great, and possibly a future video would be to pull, like, one of these, a Miyazaki, a Tomo. I have Tekken Kincrete in this format to almost compare these different hands and different eyes in terms of, like, building a story out in this format.
The Tekken Kincrete one will be amazing because the director of that, it's divorced from everything that I just mentioned about what the director's responsibilities are. Jeff Darrow's cool with that cat. I think he's a white boy, really. His name's Michael Arias, was the director. Has no drawing skills or anything, but like really gravitated toward Matsumoto's work, and Tekken King Creed in particular. Was like, I want to make this movie. Jeff knew him before that happened and stuff. I forget exactly what the connection is, but Jeff is like, yeah, how are you going to do that? And the dude explained, like, computer this. And
there's a lot of, like, if you watch that anime where, like, they're grafting drawings onto 3D, like, buildings and scenes, and I think it reduced the amount of people involved.
Exactly.
So it reduced the budget, but
exactly.
It used, like, some 3D in interesting ways, but still, like, there was hand drawing on top of it. So there's some neat stuff there, but it's more of just, like, I think it'd be cool to look at 3 or 4 different perspectives on how to do storyboards for works that we know.
Absolutely.
You know, that we can look at and see some different point of views.
Totally, man. And certainly for like, with the keen eye of the cartoonist kayfabe audience, like you pick out you could identify where each of these masterful artists, like, where they place their values the most, man, because one of these is not like the other.
Yes.
Like they always kind of lean on something a little bit different. They pace things a little bit different. And it's special stuff, man. I feel very lucky to have access to this kind of material and to be able to absorb it. I do think that it's secret weapons.
I feel like I say it about 4 times a week, but I mean, like, these are things that I couldn't have even dreamt of having this kind of access to this information whenever I was coming up.
No.
Like, it's phenomenal that this stuff exists, and you can put hands on it relatively easily.
Yeah, like these things are $30. You know, like it's $30, and you're not being waxed by the Amazon sellers or whatever. It's about what it is out there, you know. Like, I paid 3,800 yen, 29 bucks or something.
It feels like we snuck into the room. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like we're getting something that maybe we shouldn't have access to. It's incredible.
Whenever I pulled stuff back last November, that was probably where I picked up, like, the bulk of my grails and stuff. Got a text from Michel Fife, and he was like, dude, you pulled a grand larceny on Japan, dude.
It feels that way.
Good to go?
Yes.
Kayfabers, like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell so that we can notify you when new videos are available. We are a daily YouTube channel, and it is possible we talked about your favorite books. So hit the magnifying glass on the front page of the Cartoonist Kayfabe YouTube channel. Give it a search for your favorite titles. If we did not talk about your favorite comics yet, you have to let us know in the comments what those comics are so that we can push them a little bit higher on our to-read pile, so that we can get to those comics sooner than later in our coverage. We have a Patreon, and the King Kayfabers on the Patreon get access to all the videos before anybody else, mitigates the kayfabe effect, and the subscription by way of the Patreon, it pays for itself. The very first time we talk about a book that you want to get, you sleep on being a King Kayfaber, you go to the aftermarket and you realize you got to pay 5x, 10x what the book is typically going for. Subscription pays for itself. Ultimately, the videos are brought to you by the books that we make, and it's been a pretty fruitful year, 2023, for the Kings of Kayfabe. And the Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus is out in stores right now. It's going quick. We don't have too many of these left out there in the wild. So many were accounted for the holidays. Thank you guys very much for that. It's the best book I made to date. More than 500 pages of material, more than 150 pages of new stuff, and a lot of new artwork that I created just specifically for this volume. Red Room comes in 3 different flavors of trade paperback at this point. Antisocial Network, Trigger Warnings, and coming to you in January is Crypto Killers, the third in the sequence of Red Room comics. Murder on the Dark Web for Fun and Profit, name of the game of Red Room. Each of these is self-contained. Each of these contains 4 self-contained stories, so pick your poison, give it a shot, see if you dig it. And Marvel recently collected X-Men Grand Design into a trilogy trade paperback with all of my X-Men Grand Design materials in here. Very easy, convenient way to get all of my X-Men Grand Design works. Jimmy, what do you have?
Street Angel, Deadliest Girl Alive, and Street Angel Princess of Poverty are my latest releases from Image Comics. These are available wherever you buy books or comics, and they collect all of my Street Angel comics, the Street Angel Princess of Poverty, everything up until Image. So it's mostly black and white line art, kind of the traditional pen and ink drawings throughout there. Street Angel, Deadliest Girl Alive, all mixed media, full color stories. They're all complete stories in both books, so start with either one, whichever you can find at your local comic shop. I've also been self-publishing. True Crime Funnies collects some nonfiction stories, both true crime and wrestling in nature. And you can pick that up on my website, or you can read it on patreon.com/JimRugg, along with the BW zine celebrating the black and white explosion of the 80s, and the 1986 zine celebrating the greatest year in comics history. And finally, the Hulk Grand Design, my contribution to Marvel's Grand Design series of books. This one celebrating the Hulk, and it is out of print at the publisher and distribution level. So pick this one up while you still can from your local store if they have one, because once it's out of print, it may be very hard to come by.
Book sales are the most important step to kind of keep the Kayfabe channel solvent and functioning, but there are some other ways to support the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel. Jimmy, if you let the people know.
Subscribe to the Cartoonist Kayfabe e-newsletter at the links below this video. You can also find Cartoonist Kayfabe t-shirts, merchandise, mugs, hats, stickers, and lots more at our spread shop. That link is also under this video.
There you have it. Many ways to support the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel. Jimmy, if you'll give the people their final marching orders, we can all be on our way.
Read more comics.